I ignored my wife's silence. Not because I did not hear it, but because I thought silence meant peace. When she stopped asking questions, I felt relieved. When she stopped complaining, I thought we were finally okay. When she stopped telling me how her day went, I assumed she was tired. I never thought she was giving up. The day she packed her bags, she did not cry. She did not shout. She did not even look angry. She folded her clothes slowly, like she had all the time in the world. The room was quiet. Too quiet. I stood by the door and asked, "Are you going somewhere?" She nodded. Just once. That nod still hurts more than any argument we ever had. I laughed a little and said, "You'll be back by evening, right?" She looked at me then. Not with hate. Not with sadness. She looked at me like someone looks at a closed door they no longer want to open. "I don't think so," she said softly. That was it. No drama. No long speech. Just one sentence. That was the moment I realized something terrible. I had not lost my wife that day. I had lost her slowly. Over years. Through silence. My name is Daniel. I am not a bad man. At least, I never thought I was. I worked hard. Paid the bills. Came home every night. Isn't that what a good husband does? I married Sarah when we were both young. She laughed easily back then. Her laughter filled rooms. We lived in a small house with creaky floors and thin walls. Nothing fancy, but it felt warm. Sarah loved simple things. Sunday breakfasts. Clean kitchens. Dinner at the table. She used to wait for me to come home. Not because she needed help, but because she wanted company. "How was your day?" she would ask. At first, I answered. Later, I shrugged. Same as always. She would tell me about her day. The grocery store. The neighbor. The quiet hours. I listened at first. Then I half listened. Then I stopped listening at all. I was tired. Work was stressful. I told myself I deserved silence. We never fought loudly. We were not that kind of couple. Our arguments were quiet. Soft words. Long pauses. Sarah would say things like, "I feel alone sometimes." And I would reply, "I'm right here." But I wasn't. Not really. She tried to talk to me at night. I stared at my phone. She tried during dinner. I watched the news. Over time, her words became fewer. Her voice softer. I thought that meant improvement. I didn't notice when she stopped touching my arm. When she stopped sitting close. When she stopped waiting up for me. She stopped asking. Stopped reminding. Stopped hoping. And I mistook her surrender for peace. Silence is dangerous. Because it feels calm. Weeks passed. Then months. Sarah still cooked. Still cleaned. Still smiled for guests. But her smile didn't reach her eyes. I noticed small things but ignored them. Dinner was always ready. But she no longer asked me to sit with her. The bedroom light was often off when I arrived. She faced the wall when she slept. Sometimes, she tried one last time. "Daniel," she said once, "do you ever miss us?" I laughed lightly. We lived together. What's there to miss? She nodded. Again. That nod. She stopped arguing after that. I told myself she was mature. Understanding. I didn't realize she was tired. One evening, I came home late. She was sitting at the kitchen table. There was tea in front of her. Cold. She looked up and said, "We need to talk." I sighed. "Can it wait?" I asked. "I'm exhausted." She stared at me for a long moment. Then she said, "Okay." That was the last time she asked. The day she packed her bags felt ordinary. That's what hurts most. No warning. No shouting. Just folded clothes. I asked, "Is something wrong?" She smiled sadly. "I told you many times," she said. "You just didn't hear me." I tried to joke. "Are you being dramatic?" She shook her head. "No, I'm being honest." She sat across from me at the table. The same table where we once laughed. "I was lonely," she said. "Even when you were here. I wanted to argue. To defend myself. But something in her voice stopped me. I talked to you with words," she continued. "Then with tears. Then with silence." I swallowed hard. "Silence," she said, "was my last language." She stood up and picked up her bag. "I hope one day you understand," she said. And then she left. The door closed softly. No slam. That sound echoed for years. The house felt empty immediately. Not quiet. Empty. Her cup was still by the sink. Her shoes by the door. I sat on the couch all night. Waiting. She didn't come back. Days turned into weeks. I noticed everything then. Too late. The silence I once enjoyed felt heavy. Loud. I replayed moments in my mind. All the time she tried. I realized something painful. She didn't leave because I was cruel. She left because I was absent. I wrote her letters. Long ones. She replied kindly, but briefly. I hope you're well, she wrote. Nothing more. I learned then that love doesn't die in arguments. It dies in neglect. It has been years now. I live alone. The house is clean. Quiet. Sometimes too quiet. I finally understand what her silence meant. It wasn't peace. It was goodbye. If you're listening to this, and someone you love has grown quiet, please listen. Silence is not comfort. It is warning. I ignored my wife's silence. And one day, she packed her bags. Some lessons arrived gently. Others arrived too late. I hope yours comes in time.